It begins with laughter. Police officers laughing at a group of men they believed they understood, but that laughter didn't last long, because what the Hells Angels did next is something nobody, not even the toughest officers on the force, ever forgot. And now, settle in, this is a true old-style tale of grit, judgment, redemption, and heart. The high desert wind swept across the quiet streets of Ridge Valley, a small American town tucked between endless highways and forgotten motels. It was the kind of place where nothing extraordinary ever happened, where the days passed like slow, moving clouds, and the biggest weekend excitement was the smell of barbecue drifting from the volunteer fire department fundraiser. Folks knew each other, trusted each other, and stayed in their own lanes. Outsiders were noticed immediately. Outsiders on motorcycles, not just noticed, whispered about. The local police department sat on a hill overlooking the highway, a squat concrete building with a faded American flag rattling against the pole. Inside, Officer Briggs leaned back in his chair, sipping lukewarm coffee. He was a stocky man with tired eyes, a mustache thicker than his patience, and a habit of underestimating anyone who didn't look like him. On this particular morning, he was in rare form. Hells Angels. He scoffed as he scrolled through the alert email the highway patrol had forwarded. Great, just what we need in this town. A parade of leather jackets and loud engines scaring the chickens. Across the room, Officer Morales looked up from her desk. She was younger, sharper, and more open-minded, but she knew arguing with Briggs wasn't worth the effort unless lives were on the line. They're not here for trouble, she said calmly. It just says they're passing through on a charity ride. Briggs barked a laugh. Yeah, charity, sure, and I'm the Queen of England. The other officers chuckled, shaking their heads. None of them had ever met a Hells Angel. Their opinions were inherited, repeated, and never challenged. Down the highway, 12 motorcycles thundered toward Ridge Valley like iron horses slashing through the wind. Their formation was tight, disciplined, unmistakably confident. At the front rode a man named Hawk, all bearded, with years of road etched into the lines of his face. Behind him were Bear, Smokey, Red, Patch, Gator, and the rest of the crew. Their jackets carried the infamous winged skull emblem. Their boots were dusty, their gloves worn, and their expressions unwavering. But contrary to the myths whispered about them, these men were on a mission of kindness, one that would never make headlines, because kindness never sells the way chaos does. The morning sun climbed higher, glinting off chrome pipes as the bikes slowed near Ridge Valley's gas station. The Angels pulled in, engines rumbling to silence one by one. Hawk removed his helmet, stretching his neck as he looked around. Quick stop, he said. Fuel, water, check the map. We'll move in 10. As they spread out across the station, a few locals paused mid-step. A mother tightening her child's seatbelt froze. An elderly man holding a pack of cigarettes reconsidered stepping outside. Customers lingered behind windows, unsure whether to watch or hide. Inside the police station, the dispatcher's voice crackled over the intercom. The group is here. They're at Miller's Gas and Supply. Briggs slapped his hand on the table. Let's go say hello. His tone dripped sarcasm. The squad car rolled out of the lot, dust lifting behind it. As they approached the station, Briggs slowed deliberately, smirking. Look at them, he muttered, acting like they owned the place. The Angels noticed the car, but none reacted. They continued fueling, checking tire pressure, wiping their visors. They'd seen this reaction in 100 other towns. Briggs parked crookedly, stepping out like a man ready for trouble. You boys passing through. He called out loudly, hands on his hips. Hawk turned calmly. Morning, officer. Briggs raised an eyebrow. Charity ride, huh? Yes, sir. Hawk replied, raising money for children with congenital heart issues. We're meeting a family up north later today. The officer snickered behind Briggs. He chuckled like he'd heard the funniest joke of the month. Right, children with heart issues. That's a new one. Hawk didn't react. He'd heard worse. He had no interest in proving himself to someone who'd already made up his mind. Then it happened, a scream, sharp, terrified, young. Everyone turned. Across the street, a small boy, maybe 7 years old, ran into the road crying. His tiny arms flailed as he screamed a name repeatedly. Mom, Mom, Mom. Cars screeched. A pickup truck's tires locked as it swerved. The boy froze like a frightened animal in the middle of the street. Everything moved fast after that. Briggs panicked, fumbling for the radio. Morales shouted for traffic control. But none of them were close enough. Hawk dropped his helmet, sprinting at full speed. Bear lunged from the opposite direction. Gator threw his arm out to stop a speeding minivan. Smokey cut between two parked cars to divert a delivery truck that hadn't yet seen the child. In less than 5 seconds, 4 fully grown bikers formed a human shield around the boy. Hawk reached him first, scooping him up with a gentleness that didn't match his intimidating build. "It's okay, kid," he whispered, cradling the shaking child. "I got you, you're safe." Traffic halted. A wave of stunned silence fell over the street. The mother burst from a store doorway moments later, sobbing hysterically. "Ethan, oh God, Ethan." She grabbed her boy, hugging him to the point of trembling. "He ran out before I could stop him. His sister." She collapsed. "I left him for 2 seconds. My daughter's diabetic." She fainted in sigh. "Oh God, thank you, thank you." Hawk's expression softened. "Is she conscious?" "No, I don't know what to do. She's so pale, please." Before Briggs or Morales could even move, Patch, the oldest member of the Angels, spoke up firmly. "I'm a retired paramedic. Take me to her." The mother blinked in shock but nodded frantically. Patch followed her into the store as the other Angels parted the crowd. Inside, a teenage girl lay on the floor, barely breathing, sweat beading on her forehead. "Hypoglycemia," Patch said immediately. "How long has she been diabetic?" 3 years, the mother cried. "Her blood sugar monitor died last night. Her insulin bag is empty. I was going to refill it today. Please help her." "Please." Patch didn't hesitate. "Red, get the emergency kit, now." Red sprinted. The bikers always carried first, stayed because the road respected no one. Within seconds, Patch checked her pulse, loosened her shirt collar, and reached for fast-acting glucose gel. "This will bring her back," he murmured. "Stay with me, sweetheart, stay with me." As he administered the gel, the girl's eyelids fluttered. Her breathing steadied. Her mother cried harder. Patch monitored her like a seasoned professional until she fully opened her eyes. The Angels stood silent, respectful, forming a protective circle around the family inside the small store. Outside, the officers watched. Briggs, who had laughed so confidently just minutes earlier, felt his chest tighten with shame. Morales shot him a glare he couldn't return. Hawk finally stepped toward the officers. "We're not looking for trouble," he said quietly, "just trying to help where we can." Morales nodded slowly. "Looks like you just saved 2 lives. Briggs swallowed hard. "Yeah, looks like it." The young boy clung to Hawk's leg. "Thank you, mister." Hawk tousled his hair. "Take care of your mom and sister, okay?" Bear returned with a small envelope. "For her insulin," he whispered to Hawk. Hawk nodded and placed it in the mother's trembling hands. "Just a little help, no need to thank us." She hugged him anyway, tears soaking into his leather vest. Word spread through Ridge Valley faster than wildfire. The townsfolk who had whispered now stared with wide eyes full of gratitude. The gas station owner came out offering free drinks and snacks. A group of teenagers asked for photos. Even Briggs looked uncertain, humbled, lost for words. Finally, he approached Hawk. "I misjudged you," he admitted stiffly. "I shouldn't have. That was incredible. I'm sorry." Hawk gave a small nod. "People misunderstand a lot of things, officer. It's all right. What matters is the kid and his sister are safe." Morales stepped forward. "You're welcome in Ridge Valley anytime." Hawk smiled. "We appreciate that." The engines roared back to life as the Angels prepared to ride out. The mother waved from the sidewalk, her children wrapped in her arms. The sun glinted off the chrome as the bikers took formation once more, riding not as villains, but as guardians passing quietly through the American landscape. The police watched them go. their laughter long gone, replaced by a deep respect they hadn't expected to feel. And for years afterward, whenever Ridge Valley officers spoke about judgment, courage, or unexpected heroes, they always remembered the day the Hells Angels stood between a child and danger and saved 2 innocent lives without asking for anything in return.